How you guys doing? You alright? I thought I'd do a live stream today. I'm in Germany, Hamburg, and it's yeah, there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about that I'll be making videos on this channel. One of the things, the main things I've been thinking about is facing fear. I don't think that ever gets boring because everybody has fears, and everybody on this channel is here because they have some fear or another that's holding them back. And I've been doing quite a lot of reflecting lately on the years and the experience that, with regards to the teaching I've been doing and how I first started off facing my fears and the things that I had to go through, the things that I learned, the things that were challenging me. And one of the things that I learned, and I realise a lot of people struggle with, and I did many times, is, you know, this feeling that not feeling confident enough to take your fears on. And people almost sometimes, they're waiting to be confident in order to face their fears, but it doesn't work like that in my experience. You can't wait to be qualified before you're qualified. You become confident by facing your fears when you're not ready. You never really feel ready to take on your fears. And that's why so many people spend years and years in jobs that they don't enjoy, or in relationships, or in a life situation, because they're waiting. They're waiting to feel good. They're waiting to get rich. They're waiting for their issues to go away. But in my experience, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. You've got to take things on ASAP. Because similar to Les Brown's story, and a parallel between mine and his is, it took him about 14 years before he started living his dreams and teaching and doing what he was born to do. And it took me about 14 years as well, because in those 14 years I was so frightened of trying and making mistakes and being judged and facing my emotions, that I kept putting it off and saying, oh, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet, oh, not now. Kept making excuses, and that just prolonged and wasted a lot of time when in fact I could have done it earlier. And I've learned that in every single situation I've been in. I've learned that in boxing, that, a lot of people don't want to spar and do the fighting because it's scary, it's challenging until you get confident at it and you're experienced. So people will put it off and say, no, not next week. Same with dating, going out and approaching women in public, or starting a business, or traveling. Anything that challenges you, makes you anxious, triggers fear in you, or anywhere where you could potentially fail and experience failure or disappointment, you put it off and you say, I'm not ready yet. But if you keep doing that, then you're going to waste a lot of time. Whereas if you just do it anyway, it's okay if you fail, because you can still take satisfaction in the fact that you tried. You can build self-esteem from that. You can feel good about trying, messing up. Okay, the messing up is going to make you feel a little bit bad, that's human nature, but you can still feel good knowing that, well, I tried. Whereas if you don't try, it's a horrible feeling. At first you don't really feel it, right? Most people do that, I did that, we all do that. We just put things off, we're in a comfort zone, and we kind of find some kind of peace or comfort in the comfort zone. But after a while, it starts to eat away at you, because you go to bed at night, you can't sleep properly, you wake up in the morning, you're stressed, you're nervous, because you know in your own heart that you're not facing your fears. And as a result of that, it's making you feel trapped, it's making you feel not good enough. So the solution in most cases, not all cases, but I would say in most, I'm confident to say that, is take action. Take action on your fears, whatever your fears are, face them as quick as you can. And the positive part is, well, there's lots of positives depending on how you see it, but the most positive part is, and I keep forgetting to share this on this channel, and it takes me back to when I first started facing my fears before I started teaching other people. The buzz that you get, the high that you get, is like nothing I've ever experienced when you face something, that, especially when you succeed. So when you successfully conquer a fear that's been scaring you all your life, the high that you get from that, the confidence that comes, the the mental toughness, the personal growth is what made me start teaching, because I had such a good experience years ago, many years ago, more than a decade now, when I started facing my fears. I didn't know that, or I wasn't, or maybe I forgot it. And I think people do forget that. People don't focus on the positives of what they're going to gain by facing their fears in their life, taking on challenges, getting uncomfortable, pushing themselves. They don't focus on what they're going to gain. They spend too much time focusing on what I'm afraid of, what I'm going to lose. But in most cases, you don't really lose anything. You're not. It's different if you're going to jump in with a herd of great white sharks. You might lose your life. That's different. I wouldn't include that. But when you're talking about asking someone out that you like, okay, yeah, you could get hurt, but you're not going to lose anything. Or starting a business, you're not going to lose anything unless you invest all your money into a business and then you lose the money. That's a possibility. But most businesses, with my business, I didn't need to really invest any money at the start. I didn't need any money. I just need to get started and start making content and teaching and educating people. So you don't really lose anything. Most fears you don't lose, but when you don't face fear, you lose a lot of time. You lose a lot of confidence. You lose something that's very precious, hard to put into words. It's more than money. You lose self-respect for a start for yourself, because it's hard to respect yourself when you don't like yourself. And it's hard to like yourself and respect yourself when you're not taking action and you're not being courageous. Really is difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very hard to draw self-esteem on. It's just human nature that we draw strength, self-love, self-esteem, a sense of I'm good enough, I like myself. We draw most of these conclusions based on the way that we're showing up in life. And a lot of people don't like themselves and they have a bad opinion because they're not showing up, they're not challenging themselves, they're being a coward basically. So it's understanding all these things, but you only really understand it through being in the arena. You can't understand it by reading a book. It's not enough. It doesn't give you the experience like reality gives you. So reading books is, from my understanding, it's quite a fictional experience. It's quite imaginative. It's an imagination. You read, it's logical. It has a certain purpose, but in the area we're talking about today, it's not correct. So I'll reiterate that in an example. You can't read a book on how to experience a boxing fight or sparring. It's not the same as the real thing. You can't read a book on how to ask a woman out in real life. It's not the real thing. You can't read a book on how to do a live stream and be confident speaking in front of the camera. They're two different worlds. And the world of reading books doesn't give you what the world of being in the arena gives you, which is confidence, self-esteem, mental toughness, experience, awareness. It expands. You become more intelligent. This is something that I found amazing that I don't hear anyone talking about unless they have. But facing fear makes you more intelligent. I became more intelligent by facing more fears. And I try and explain how that works. It's nice, I'll be honest, it's very cold. It's lovely here. I love Germany, but it's freezing. I didn't know it was going to be this cold, Frank. It's 1 degrees compared to London. It's bitter, but it is lovely. I'm grateful to be here. So, well, for a start, when you face your fears, or you face lots of fears consistently, your confidence increases, therefore your intelligence increases, because you develop more as a person. Your mind develops more, your spirit, your whole sort of being develops more, and you create new opportunities, you meet new people, you expand your comfort zone, and that's how you become, maybe not in the sense of how people think of intelligence, like being in a classroom, but you still do, yeah. Intellectually, you become more intelligent. Socially, your awareness. So for me, this is the best type of intelligence. Human awareness it's endless, it's endless what you can do, which is why I dedicated, the last decade, almost 11 years of my life teaching this to people all around the world, and I'm still learning myself. I still obviously have fears, like everybody else does. Yes, yeah, that's exposure therapy. That's what it is. That's the psychological term, which I quite like. But yeah, it's therapeutic. It's therapy. The best type, in my opinion, it's the best, one of the best therapies out there, if not the best. Because even when people sit down, which is helpful when they speak to a therapist and they talk about their problems and their issues, at some point, at some point, you're going to come to the truth, which is, well, you're going to have to go and face these issues if you want to get past them. Example, let's say someone's got a phobia of people or flying, and they go to a therapist about that to get some help, support. A therapist can only tell you so much in so many ways. They can talk to you, they can listen to you, they can be compassionate, they can maybe help you to understand yourself more. But eventually, if you don't get on a plane and face that fear and face people, then you're not going to get past your issues. So what changed my life, guys, many years ago, and it's continued before I started changing other people's lives, was I went out and I made the decision that I couldn't live like this anymore. My anxiety was just crippling me. It was killing me in every area of my life. I was terrified and depressed, and I didn't feel good about myself as a result. So I just thought, right, I've had enough of this anymore. I've got nothing to lose in my life. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's read that, Frank. Yeah, the pain factor is a big challenge for people. You're right about that, Frank, 100%. I'll speak on that in a second. That's really important. I'm glad that you bring that up. So where was I? What's my train of thought? Just a sec. Where was I? The fears. Yeah, as I was saying, whatever therapist you speak to, at some point you're going to have to face it if you want to overcome it. It's not going to go away by speaking about it. Speaking can help, though. Don't get me wrong. I do that with my clients as well, because that does help. That is helpful, but it's not enough. You need more. You need a practical approach, which is why I've always favoured exposure therapy out of all the therapies that are out there. I'm not a therapist, but my teaching is therapeutic. It has an element of that naturally through the way that I teach, my personality, and the way that I structure exercises for my clients. But it's really just common sense, when we just get past all of the fancy language and all the psychological terms. It's just really about facing your fears head on and doing it until you get experienced at it and you can handle it and control it. But there's a lot that goes into that. Although my teaching's simple, it's very it's simple, but it is profound. It's profound in how unlimited you can grow as a person, providing you're willing to commit and exercise your courage. So the very nature of exercising your courage, especially for men, gives you self-esteem. It makes you feel good about yourself. The opposite of that, which is in the dictionary, which is cowering away from fears and responsibilities, which is being a coward. I know it's not a nice word, but it's true. That makes you feel terrible. And that's what happened to me in my life. I felt bad about myself all the time. Yeah, that I understand that, Frank. That's a tough situation. Some people today are just like nasty for no reason, and they like trying to shame people when they're not doing anything wrong. I think the best thing for you to get past that is what you've done is by getting it out, which is a therapy telling me, which is great. But I think you should keep going, just being positive and continue speaking to women until you have a nice positive experience, so that can kind of take away that pain or that bad experience. So to answer your question, when we have negative experiences in life, which we all do, and they do affect us, depending on how strong we are, we have to come back again and not let that defeat us and try again. And that's where I come back to at the start of this talk, where I said, you know, I've said in all my videos, you're going to fail. Everybody fails. I do. Even when you're successful, you're going to fail again and again. It's how you deal with it. The best way to deal with it is to try again. Again, it's always the simple advice, if taken, is the best out there. Everybody usually is looking for something new that they've not heard, something really sophisticated, but you don't really need sophistication and new methods to face fear. The old method still works very well, and that's find your courage, have a go at it. If you fail, get back up, try again. I failed many times in my life. I've said it before on this channel. Hundreds of times I failed with women. I failed in business. I failed with sales. I failed on YouTube. I failed in boxing. I failed at everything that I've ever done, but I didn't quit. When I had the passion, I always succeeded in the end because I was willing to not quit. Keep going, keep regrouping, learning. Of course it affected me. I'm only human. And I did, at times, of course, self-doubt, feeling down, feeling a bit depressed, feeling defeated, feeling sad, feeling lonely. All those feelings I went through, and I still go through that from time to time, actually a lot. But I was able to always lift myself out of that place and say, right, I've got my strength back now. Let's go again. Let's give it another shot. And that's just a winning mentality. You speak to any successful person that is honest in what they've done, and they tell you the truth, and they don't, which is rare today, unfortunately. They will tell you that they experience the same thing that you do, but they probably deal with it a little bit better in that they don't give up. So that's something I've learned along my journey, that we all get tested. We're all going to fail. You can't get around that, but what you can do is you can learn to not let it affect you and see positives and keep going. Failure always motivated me. It still does. Failure, shame, anxiety, embarrassment, people judging me, depression, they're not nice things to go through for any of us, but these things have always motivated me to come back stronger and give it another go, which I always do, and I always get there in the end. And a lot of my clients do as well, because that's a big part of my teaching. A huge part of what I do, I forget to say this sometimes, it will be useful for everyone to know this so they can apply it. Huge part of what I do for my clients is I help them to pick themselves back up. It sounds like a cheesy quote from Batman, but it's true. I help them to pick themselves up when they feel like quitting because they get rejected in their life, or they get disappointed, or somebody upsets them in a relationship, or, you know, things don't work out in their dating life, or they ask someone out and they say no, or they have challenges in their business or their life, or with social anxiety. Social anxiety taught me a lot of that, because when you have situations, I've had hundreds where you fail, you get nervous, you get awkward, and you feel embarrassed, and you beat yourself up for it. Then you go away and you think, oh, I'm a terrible person, I'm awkward, I'm weird, people think this about me. I've been through that so many times, I speak from experience, but you have to come back from that and say, actually, I'm not weird, I'm not going to give up. You know, no one's going to care about this in a week's time. They're going to forget about me being awkward. They're thinking about their own problems most of the time. They're thinking about their life. People are selfish to their own problems, which is kind of helpful. So you go again, you go into another social situation, and this time you do a bit better. And then you draw confidence from that. And then you understand the process of success. You understand that with a whole process of learning, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have good days. You can have days where you're going to succeed. You can have days where you're going to fail big time. You can have periods where you're going to fail. Happens in all businesses. It happens in my business. I have periods where my business goes really well. I make a lot of money. I transform a lot of clients. I just enjoy it. And then I have periods where it doesn't go well. Financially, there's challenges. Business doesn't come in as often, and I don't enjoy certain aspects, and I feel stressed. I feel pressured. But it's how I deal with it. It's how you deal with it long term. I don't give up. I use my experience. I set new goals. I focus on how can I help other people. So all these things I've been saying, I learned all these things through one practice, and that practice in the professional term is exposure therapy. The language that I use, which is more the common man's language, which I prefer, is facing my fears, taking action. I've learned all these things that I've been educating and teaching you guys today on this live stream. All these things I've learned through real life experience. I didn't learn them reading a book. I didn't learn them I mean, I learned some of it by listening to people who had experience in life, successful people, but most of it I learned through my own experience. So I've always been excited, still am, about helping my clients, helping you nice people that follow me to get your own experience, because you need that. That's brilliant, man. I'm well pleased you did it, man. Always makes me happy when people on this channel take my advice, try it for themselves, and get good results. So that experience that you had, Frank, that's the experience that I always hope for people to experience for themselves, which I've experienced hundreds of times. It never gets boring, and that experience is what you did. Doing something new, like checking into a hotel, new hotel for the first time with a friend, you can't beat that feeling. And it's that continuous way of living that makes you feel great about yourself. I want to make a point of saying this as well. I think a lot of people forget. Just when you become successful, life doesn't stop. Like, because I became successful many years ago, I've still got to face fears again. I still fail. I still have goals and dreams, and I'm still failing. I'm failing a lot at the moment, actually, to tell you guys. I'm going through a lot of, in my own understanding, maybe other people wouldn't call it failure, but to my own standards, I'm failing in my life in certain areas. But I'm not quitting, but I'm also succeeding as well. So just because you see someone on YouTube or they're successful in any way, it doesn't mean that they're perfect. It doesn't mean that they're not still scared. I am still scared. I still have fears as well, but I take them on, and I use the teaching that I'm teaching you guys today, because it always works if you work it. Good to see you, Benny. I hope you're doing well, mate. I'm actually really enjoying this stream. I haven't done streams in a while, so yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on this, just to let you guys know as well. I'm excited to say that I got 2 events coming up. I've got a weekend conference program in London on December the 10th and the 11th. That's for dating. That's specifically for guys that have social anxiety, and they're sick and tired of not having a girlfriend or not having a date in life, or just not being able to be social with women and be confident and be honest. So if you're interested in that program, you can just send me an email. My email address is below all my videos, and then I'll get back to you. I'm taking 4 students. I love this program, so it's Saturday and Sunday. I've also got another event, which is a seminar, which is on December the 4th. That's going to be a free event where we're going to get together. It's basically the Fearless event, but it's a new, improved version. I've got the meeting on Meetup, and I'm pleased now that the group's growing. We've got 31 members, so we've got 9 people coming to that. So if you want to come to that, let me know in the box below. You might want to come to both. So I've got a free event coming up on December the 10th and the 11th. Sorry, I've got a free event coming up on December the 4th, which is a meetup group, a social group for men that want to be around like-minded people, get some support so they can face their anxieties in life, in all areas of life, or areas that they most want to overcome. That's a free event on the 4th of December in London. Then I've got the paid weekend event where we go out for a weekend, and I help you to speak to women in public with honesty, respect, and be yourself. So excited about those 2 events that are coming up. If any of you want any more info, just send me an email, I'll get back to you. Yeah, I did, Frank. I'm proud of myself. Thank you for asking. I've done it twice now. I've travelled to Germany on my own, Hamburg. It's been a great experience. I've learned a hell of a lot from it. I've done some videos. I will talk about it more on the channel. I'm really starting to, I'm praying, and I hope I get the opportunity, because I got the opportunity back in the day. I wasn't really thinking about it, to go on some podcast shows and to tell my story. Yeah, I've been to Cologne. Yeah, Cologne's nice. Yeah, if you want to come to the 4th of December event, Frank, send me an email, and then I'll give you the details. I'll give you the I can give you the link so you can join the platform, and I'll also give you the address. Yeah, it'd be great to have you there, man. It'd be lovely. We're gonna have a good turnout. So yeah, this is one of the reasons why I love traveling, because when I travel, what's the right word? When I travel, my brain just opens up. I start learning a lot of stuff to share with people, to teach. I have a lot of realizations. I can do a lot of processing about my life and take the bits that I know that will help people. And I also can think about, the questions that I get all the time. That's great. You guys love traveling. I haven't met anybody that doesn't like traveling. And one of the reasons why well, what made me change my perspective on traveling was, first and foremost, Benny, I was afraid of it for so many years, and it got me down because I wasn't facing it, and I was facing other fears. So, being around different people had inspired me. I worked with a couple of clients recently. They travelled from America, different places, to come and do my coaching. So I was like, well, if they can do it, they've inspired me. Why aren't I doing it? What excuses do I have? I've got no excuses. And I met a really nice person, met a really nice girl. She really inspired me, mostly down to her and clients. So it was something that I had to do, and I'm well pleased I did it. So now I've got the experience. Now I know how to, travel on my own, go to an airport, find a flight, all the sort of details, pack, get your passport. Now I know how to do that. That's another thing ticked off the list for me with my fears. Still want to do more traveling though, which I will. So it was like, if I didn't do that, I would consider that a huge failure on my part. And I want to travel anyway, go to new places, get out of London, meet new people, experience new things. And if I'm being honest as well, for me, I wanted to travel to improve my business, so I can make more money, and then I can use that money even better to help more people, grow my platform, and obviously to fund my lifestyle. So also for business as well, I see it as an investment for everybody. Everybody benefits when I travel, I believe. Everybody in my life benefits because I'm a better person. People that follow me. I'm not sure about that. You probably need to speak to a doctor, because I'm not a doctor on feeling fatigued, but there could be many reasons, usually stress. So you need rest and some exercise and diet, change of diet. For me as well, traveling was a big opportunity to face my fear. I'm addicted to facing fear. That's part of my philosophy. So it was like, well, I've always wanted to travel on my own. It's always been a fear. I've faced a lot of fears anyway, and I want to help more clients. So the good thing now is, if I work with a client who's got a fear of traveling alone, I can help them. I can talk them. I can teach them how to do that, because I've done it. So that's the thing that I've always practiced since I started teaching in my journey. Is I don't tell people, I don't teach people things that I haven't done myself, because that's not, for me, that's not honest. So if I don't know something, I just say I don't know it. I pass you on to someone who does. Yeah, that's great. You can't go wrong doing the boxing. Boxing is unbelievable. My favourite destination. Can't really say my favourite destination, to be honest, mate, because I haven't travelled to that many places. Depends what you're asking me. If you're asking me in London, I've travelled to a few. Where have I travelled to in my life? I've been to Spain. I've been to Poland. I've been to Czech Republic, Prague. I've been to Germany, two parts of Germany, Cologne, Hamburg. So in my life, I've been to 5 countries. It's not that much compared to obviously most people, but it's better than nothing. It's a good start. I'm grateful that I have been to 5 countries, and I'm going to build on it and do a lot more traveling, as now I've got more confidence and experience. But yeah, a big reason why I done it was to want to be a better teacher, want to have more experience. Not sure about Thailand, Benny. Not sure about that. I'm sure I'd love it when I was there, but it's not like the main place I'd like to go right now. I don't really have any places in mind. At the start, it was more Europe, get a bit comfortable going Europe, because I like Europe. I like Germany a lot, Poland. Um, I think I would like to go Spain again, somewhere hot, as I've been traveling mainly to colder countries. I'd like to go Holland, Amsterdam. So Holland, Spain, somewhere in Spain. So yeah, for anybody watching this live stream, um, yeah, possibly possibility would be good to go to India, bigger countries like that. So what I would say to anybody watching this stream today, I've learnt this. I learn it all the time, and it's, if you can get yourself to train, yes, Freudian slip. If you can get yourself to face a fear, you're going to feel better the quicker you do it. Because one of the tricks that fear does and anxiety does is it puts you in a bad mood. Let me explain something. So we all have fears. Some of us have more fears than others, and some of us have faced more. So if you're not facing a fear, then you're going to feel run down, probably in a bad mood, fatigued, down, stressed, not feeling good enough, depressed, lonely, isolated, however you feel. If you face the fear, you're going to feel energized after. Every time I face fear, or any time my clients face a fear, they feel energized. Why? Because they untrap themselves from the mindset and the emotions that trap you. That's the therapy that I love with fear, the contact, if I can explain it right. So same way when you work out on the punch bag and you lay into it for half an hour, when you finish doing that, you feel energized, you feel free. Why? Because you get out all your frustration. And when we face our fears as men, we might not realize this, but we're getting out all of the negativity that we're carrying. We're getting out all the trauma, all the frustration, all the anger, all the negative thoughts, feelings, also our talents. We're expressing ourselves, all of our qualities. So all these things are coming out. That's what makes you feel free. That's why people feel depressed and unhappy at times. That's why I felt like that, because they don't feel free. They don't feel light. They don't feel energetic. They don't feel positive. So facing fear gives you that. It gives you that release. Yeah, enjoying the process is really important, as you said. If you can do that, I'm glad that you said that. If you can enjoy facing your fear, then life's amazing. But I will say this. That would be great, but the reality is you're not always going to enjoy facing your fears. Some of you might say, why not? Because it's so challenging and stressful. But I will say this, if you keep facing the challenging fears that are initially stressful and not enjoyable, they will become enjoyable later on. Awesome. See you soon, Frank. Have a great day. We'll be finishing up soon. I think I've covered enough for today. I'm going to do some more videos while I'm here. Yeah, it's really glad to have you guys on the stream. I'm hoping that the streams will pick up, which they always will, because my event's really picking up. So what was I going to say? I appreciate that, Colby. Thank you, mate. How are you doing? You all right? Oh, just to make sure as well, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I forget to say that, because a lot of people watch channels and get value, but they forget to subscribe. I do that sometimes. It really helps the channel to grow. It helps all of us. So subscribe to my channel if you're getting a lot out of it. And if you've got any questions, please let me know, because I will read the questions, especially if they're on fear and anxiety, and I will answer your question in the next video or next live stream. Or if you send me an email, and it's not too long, because I do get a lot, I'll try and answer your question in an email. No, I'm not really a fan of cricket, to be honest. I haven't got nothing against it. I like boxing. Boxing's my favourite sport, boxing, and I like bodybuilding. I like weight training, fitness, running, swimming. They're the sort of sports and hobbies that I like doing, mate. So what I was going to say, yeah, some of you will be watching this live stream later on, so I appreciate you. You won't be watching this live, but when you do watch this, I want to say thanks for coming on and watching it. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate all the support as always on the channel. It is great. My goal on this channel is to increase the message, make a bigger impact basically. So by subscribing, sharing, liking, getting your questions in, it helps the platform to grow, because there's still a lot of men around the world that might not have seen my channel and they're really struggling with anxiety right now. They probably can't get out of the house. So if they can get to the videos and they can hear my story and hear your story and get some of the techniques and the methods, it can help them to move forward. Because I was thinking about this the other day, I really did. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling when you're suffering with anxiety and you're just trapped and you just feel on your own and you don't have anyone to talk to and you can't find the strength. It's a horrible place. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So it's great if people who are in that place can get out of that as quick as possible. And the best way for anybody, I always say, simplifies everything. Before we get into starting businesses, speaking to women, traveling, all these bigger fears that men have, get out of the house, leave the house, go for a walk. Because that can be really difficult for someone. I know it was difficult for me 14 years ago. It's not difficult now, but it was back then for me. For people, well, not normal people, but for people that don't have anxiety disorders, leaving the house is easy for them. They wouldn't understand, but I understand. You guys understand. You've had the anxiety where you're scared to come out of the house. You feel uncomfortable, nervous, stressed. So getting out of the house is where dreams start to get built. 100%, you become more fearless. And that's where my journey started. My journey started by leaving the house, because I was scared to do that to begin with. Oh, that's great to hear, man. I love hearing that from you guys. I like the positive experiences. Definitely do something outside. Your best experiences, JRB, happened when you travelled on your own. Yeah, that's a really challenging thing for everyone at times. It's to focus on the process and not the outcome. And we all get challenged by that. I get challenged by it, but that is the right attitude to have to live a better life and reduce suffering and increase happiness and positivity and feeling good about yourself and your life, is to enjoy the process. I'll give you guys an example, right? As I said, sometimes, a lot of times we need change. When I was doing the live streams in London in my place, I wasn't really enjoying it. And the reason was it was too comfortable for me and it just became not challenging, not interesting. Now I'm doing them in Germany, I feel better about it. I have more of a positive energy and an enthusiasm because I'm in a different place. So going to different places it's not just about getting on a plane, going to India or America or Thailand or Germany. But going to different places about changing the mindset and getting to new places. For a great start for anyone with anxiety would be leaving the house, going to a different supermarket, different shop, different street, getting on the tube. You need new experiences to keep you sane and keep you growing as a person, give you a better perspective on life, and on yourself. What else is there before we finish up? I need to get coffee in a bit, get some food. What else is there? Well, I will end a few more minutes. I will start off by saying this, right? It might be a bit out of sync from what I've been saying, and I'm learning this again. It's a tough lesson to learn, but it's invaluable if you're willing to take it. Favorite physical exercise? My favorite physical exercise would have to be probably hitting the punch bag, kind of joint with doing weights. I do like weights. I like bench. I like doing bench. I like doing bicep curls. Lat pull down, deadlifts, mainly around those exercises, shoulder presses, back, rows, pull downs, pull ups, press ups. So they're my favourites, along with boxing, hitting the bag, the pads. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought again, which is fine. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, it's easy to face things when you're feeling good and things are going well, right? Most people can do that, but it's very, very challenging. It's very challenging to motivate yourself to face fear and take action and be action orientated when you're not feeling good, when you're depressed or when you're exhausted or when you're just feeling low on energy and down. It's very hard for everyone, for me included. But if you can do that, then you go to another level. The results that you get are just shocking, and that challenges everybody in every walk of life. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what you have. Everyone is challenged by their mood when they don't feel good, when you're having a bad day, or sometimes it's not having a bad day. You're just not feeling like it. That's really when you've got to act and do things. This is what I've learned on my journey, and I'm learning it every day. And today is a little bit like one of those days. I'm kind of feeling good and comfortable. So I pushed myself to do this stream today and help other people. So, you know, that's when you're going to get the biggest payoff. When you don't feel like making content in your business, or you don't feel like having a business meeting or coaching, or you don't feel like having a conversation with someone, or you don't feel like going to the gym, or you don't feel like asking someone out. Sometimes these are the best times to do it, you know, because that's when big changes can come, and then you do feel like it. That's what all my infield videos used to be about. A lot of it was me saying, look, I don't feel like it. I feel the way that all my followers do. I feel tired, I feel anxious, or I feel shy or introverted. I don't really feel like going up and speaking to people in public. But I'm gonna put myself through it. I'm gonna be brave. And through that process, you'd see me get in the mood, my state would change. So yeah, take action if you can when you don't feel like it. Guys, I'll end it on that note. I'll do more streams. I'm gonna be here for another week. So I'm gonna do some more videos. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I do post some pictures of my travels, give you guys some nice pictures. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on the upcoming events. Just to remind people, I've got the Week in Confidence program in December for guys that want to overcome social anxiety and start dating and being confident with women, get the right relationship, get out of the house, get social for a whole weekend in London with me and the other students. That's on the 10th and the 11th. I'm taking 4 students. I've got 4 spaces, limited to 4. So if you want to apply, send me an email, I'll get back to you about that. And I've also got the event, which is a week before, which is a free event, a meetup group, which is on the 4th of December, which is in London and starts at 1, finishes at 3. If you want to come to that, just let me know, send me an email. Or if you want to apply for both, just let me know, I'll get back to you. I'm looking forward to both the events. The free event on the 4th of December, where we do a group talk. It's very therapeutic, honest, great support. We have tea, coffee. It's nice, lovely event for 2 hours. And then I'm looking forward to the weekend program. I've ran so many of these weekend programs now. It's been amazing. I'll talk more about that on my channel. Maybe you guys would like to hear me talk about the experiences I have coaching people. I still can't believe it. I say it all the time. It feels like I'm in a dream. I'm getting clients from all around the world. I'm not showing off, but I'm just so amazed by it myself from where I started. And I meet so many nice people that are interested from all around the world in person. That's amazing. I'm not talking about on a Zoom call or Skyping. Yeah, I do some coaching with that, but I'm talking about they come and travel to London, book flights and take my program. It's amazing. And I get to, I said to a client the other day, he was saying though, to be honest, most of the conversations I have with my clients, I don't even have these with my family, I don't even have these with my family. They're so deep, they're so honest, they're so open. The nature of the work that we do, it's meaningful as hell. It really is something that you just don't get to do every day. Some people don't get to do it in their whole life. So the conversations and the nature of the conversations I have, although they're challenging at times for my clients and for me as well, they are really honest. They are incredibly powerful, really open, vulnerable, brave, and I get to hear people's real stories about really who they are, what they're going through, their challenges, their struggles, and what where their purpose, what they want to achieve. It is really, really what's the right word? It's a really great that I get to experience that, because back in the day I didn't. They didn't enable me to have these sort of conversations with people. You're not allowed, wouldn't be allowed to get fired. It wouldn't be appropriate. Didn't really get the time. So I really get to hear closely who people are, their journey, where they want to go, and I play a part in that, and they play a part in my life. Sometimes it's just for 2 days, sometimes it's for 6 weeks or a year. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's why I've got all these collections of experiences and stories. I must write a book soon when I feel inspired to share these stories or podcasts, because I've got so many real stories that people I've met from all around the world and had some of the most amazing, introspective, interesting conversations with, that have been life-changing for them and for me, for both of us. So we'll end on that. We'll end on a positive high. And it was a pleasure, guys. I appreciate it. And thanks for everyone who inspired me on this channel to face my fear, because I'm always teaching people how to face their fears, but you guys inspire me. You inspire me to face more of my fears as I'm inspiring you. So it's what can I say? Thanks a lot. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. All right, enjoy, guys, all of you.